Armada Kickoff is brought to you by Dream Finders Homes, Community First Credit Union, Winn-Dixie, Baptist Health, and Bowden Eye and Associates.
Hello and welcome into Armada Kickoff. I think we can safely say that this is a crossroads week for the team. After a good start to the fall season, the Armada have lost 3 straight and failed to score in all 3. This week, it's a trip to Fort Lauderdale to take on the rival Strikers. It's as close to a must-win game as you'll find for a team with 17 matches left in the season. We'll take a look at this past Saturday's action and look ahead. Plus, how much of a factor will the Nordic trio of Pekka Lagerblom, Alex Anderson, and Nicholas Maripu be going forward? Mauricio Ruiz and Andy Kidd are in just a bit as well, but let's look back on a blazer of a day on Saturday. You would have to expect that the hottest game in Armada history would be tough on a team from Canada, but give credit to Ottawa. They scored early and then locked things down, largely taking the 95-degree heat out of play.
Arts and Culture Day at Community First Park, an 80-foot mural being painted by supporters, and the Armada were looking to paint a pretty picture on a steamy hot day. 8th minute, Matt Boehner crosses in. Alex Anderson making his Armada debut, couldn't get to it before Romuald Pezer got a hand on it. Remains 0-0. A couple of minutes later, Zach Steinberger gets a cross in. It goes through 3 Armada players. Carl Ouimet, Anderson, and Boehner all had a shot at it. Nobody got on the end of it. Still a 0-0 contest. 37th minute now. Brian Oliveira on a takeaway. Finds Thomas Stewart and the Northern Irishman. Puts it past Sean Lewis to give Ottawa the 1-0 lead. Take another look. The Fury came into this match having scored in the first half in only 2 matches this season. They took the early lead in this one. Second half now. 60th minute. Another giveaway in the midfield. Oliveira again takes his time, leaves it for Carl Haworth, and Ottawa's leading goal scorer. Nets his 4th on the season. It's 2-0 Ottawa. And the Fury really got defensive. They packed it in as you would expect on the road with a 2-0 lead. And the Armada couldn't find a way through. In fact, very few shots on goal all game against the Fury. The heat, the deficit, all playing against Jacksonville. Ottawa wins it 2-0. 3rd straight match without a goal for the Armada.
Just their counterattacks. When we lost some balls in the midfield, they were going 100 miles an hour forward. So with the heavy legs from the weather, so it's difficult to track back for the midfielders, you know. So as defenders, we have more guys to track down, and they executed the counterattack pretty well, and that killed us.
It's tough, you know, because the guys have been here for a week, and it's always tough, you know, to play with new guys. But I mean, when they're good players, they can be part of the team, and I think you won't see it. But today, I think they were a little bit tired, but still, I think we had a couple of chances, and we just couldn't finish them tonight.
If we look at today, we can't get the ball away so easy. We have to keep the ball and be better in offense.
There's no doubt about that. Need to find a way to get the ball in the net. You take a look at the match stats, and some of these numbers just do not equate to a 2-0 game. When you've got the shots on goal, the corners, the aerial duels won, the possession. This doesn't look like a game that should have been a 2-0 loss, but it was. The Armada need to find a way to find the wins here very, very shortly. Now let's convene the Analyst Roundtable, presented by Subway.
Players that you can switch around, and we're going to be very strong.
We saw a lot of different players, a lot of different lineups.
And we welcome in Mauricio Ruiz and Andy Kidd. Guys, Tony Meola called Saturday's loss to Ottawa one of 3 bad performances this year. Andy, do you agree?
It's hard to disagree. It was a tough game to watch, and I know Tony and the players are frustrated, but you know, we talked about at the beginning of the year, as long as the Armada are creating chances and being dangerous going forward, it's not a reason to panic. But I'd say the Ottawa game, there weren't a ton of chances going forward for the Armada.
Right, and I think what he means about 3 bad performances, you know, it's you can argue, okay, that's not the case because we haven't won the other games or tied the other games outside of this, you know, the 3 that he's mentioning. I think it's the argument of performance versus results. Mm-hmm. And there have been good performances and no results. This one was a little bit of both. It was a bad performance and a bad result.
What did you think of the performances of the 3 Nordic players, the two Swedes, Nicholas Merepu, Alex Anderson, and then Pekka Lagerblom making his regular season debut.
I think the main thing is impressed the fact that the two Swedes went 90 minutes.
Yeah,
you know,
right, in that heat.
in that heat and playing for the first time here. I think, the humidity. So impressed on their professionalism. I think that's bold. I think that's something to build on. Pekka, you can tell that he's still not in game shape form. Right. But technically and intelligence-wise, and if you look at the tactical positioning on the field, they're fantastic.
Yeah, and I say the sample size isn't large enough yet, and it's definitely tough to get into the side when the lineup's different each game, game in, game out. I want to give these guys a chance to play with the same player next to them or the same player behind them or the same player in front of them so they can start creating some of those relationships position-wise. And then let's kind of give them a grade and see what it looks like. But I think in the long run, they're going to help the Armada.
All right, guys, stick around. We'll have more from you guys coming up here in just a bit. Let's hear from Tony Meola now. He thinks that the team learned a lot about how the new players fit in on Saturday, and he expects better things this week. Here's Coach's Corner, presented by Asana Wellness Center, the official training facility of the Jacksonville Armada.
I think Nicholas, and we'll find some complementary players that kind of suit him in the middle of the field. We tried some combinations today. We'll see how that works. And we also have to monitor. By the time we get to the end of the week, sometimes guys just, with the heat here, we're trying to shorten the trainings as much as possible. But we've got to monitor that towards the end of the week and see how guys feel.
One of the things that it seems that when you're playing in the heat and coming off a tough performance, there's a certain mental toughness that you want to see rise. And a lot of the guys you brought in kind of have that trait.
Yeah, and we need to use it now. We need to use that mental toughness that they've gained in other places. Part of the reason why they're here, they need to use it this weekend. And we need to find the group that's best prepared, both physically and mentally, to play in a game like this. This is an opportunity for us to sort of right a couple of wrongs with one game, as much as you can do it with one game, and get ourselves on the right track here.
Some weeks we will be talking a lot about Fort Lauderdale being a club in some upheaval right now, but I have a feeling that based on where the Armada is right now, you're not too concerned about what's happening down there. The focus is here.
Yeah, the focus is on 99% of the time is going to be on us this week and how we address it. And of course, we know the opponent, we respect the opponent. I don't look too much into, I don't think anyone comes into our place, even though it hasn't gone well and that's going to be an easy one. That would be unfair to Fort Lauderdale, and it would probably be unfair to us to paint that picture because it's not going to be easy. But I think we'll be ready.
All right, let's hear from those three players now in their own words. How did they think their first match went? We spoke to the Nordic trio this week.
Alex Anderson, Nicholas Merepu, and Pekka Lagerblom. Two Swedes and a Finn. Three European imports who all made their Armada regular season debuts on Saturday. And all of them had similar views of their first Armada appearances. Nice to get it out of the way, but they need to be better.
I got a lot of opportunities, but I didn't score, so it was not so good. But after the 20, they do the first score, and then I think we get tired or something. So.
It was good to get my first game, to starting to get used to the boys, how we play, how the league is. So I'm getting there every day in training and in games.
The position, what I play and what it requires is the whole opening of spaces, making deep runs from box to box. So I kind of knew that it's going to be really demanding to me, but not that kind of that. After 20 minutes, I was kind of cast. And so.
For Lagerblom, who injured his Achilles in February, it was a long wait to get back on the pitch. And he expects that with more time together, the Scandinavian trio will make a big impact on the Jacksonville attack.
Surely now with Niklas and Alex on the field, maybe two new guys, me too, so it was kind of finding those connections a little bit too, but I think week per week we're getting better on that one.
Although nobody was satisfied with Saturday's result, the good news is that it won't be long until the team has a chance to put things right.
Yeah, you just want to play the next game like tomorrow after such a game, so I'm looking forward to Saturday.
And the good news is that Merepu and the rest of the Armada won't have to wait long for that next game Saturday at Fort Lauderdale, taking on the Strikers, a team that we'll talk a little bit more about here in a bit. They have had really a roller coaster kind of season in a lot of ways. Then a Wednesday midweek match at Indy 11, who continue to play very well before coming back home to take on the Carolina Railhawks on August the 6th at Community First Park. Tickets for that one are available by calling 844-2-ARMADA or by going online to armadafc.com. Coming up, the league's leading goal scorer keeps adding to his total. We'll go around the NASL. Plus, Mauricio Ruiz joins us for the Armada Boot Room. Stick around. More Armada Kickoff is straight ahead.
To enter for your chance to participate in the Winn-Dixie Bubble Battle, visit your nearest Winn-Dixie in your Armada gear, take a selfie, and post it to any of the Armada social media using the hashtag WinnDixieBB. 2 winners will be selected every Wednesday during a home match week. Assemble a team of 3, and you're ready for battle.
The fall season race is starting to take shape now that we're about a quarter of the way through the season. Let's go around the NASL, presented by Nike.
Let's start at Juan Ramon Lubriel Stadium in Puerto Rico, where Puerto Rico FC got their first ever league victory thanks to an Pito Ramos goal in the 53rd minute, his 4th of the year already. Puerto Rico beats Rayo OKC 1-0, ending a 6-game unbeaten run for Rayo. Indy 11, FC Edmonton. After seeing their 13-game unbeaten streak snapped, Indy bounced back. Dylan Mares on the free kick, Greg Janicki the header in the 13th minute. Indy beats FC Edmonton 1-0. Tampa Bay Rowdies New York Cosmos in stoppage time. 6 minutes in, Joe Cole from the penalty spot earns a point for the Rowdies. It's a 2-all draw. Minnesota United is so good at home. They continue to play well in Blaine, Minnesota. 23rd minute, Christian Ramirez, his league-leading 11th goal. Minnesota beats Fort Lauderdale 3-1. And the week started on Friday with Carolina and Miami. A 3-all draw that saw Mexican star Omar Bravo scoring in the 78th minute as he made his Railhawks debut.
All right, so here are the standings in the fall season. Clearly some work to do for the Armada. Rayo OKC, though, right atop the fall season standings. An impressive first season for Rayo, of course, a team that is backed by a long-standing club in Spanish La Liga. Cosmos still having a hard time getting it done on the road, but they're still hanging around. You see those 3 teams with 10 points, Indy 11, FC Edmonton, and the Cosmos, the Minnesota United on 9 points. That's the chase group right now in the fall season. As far as the combined numbers are concerned, remember, the fall winner, the spring winner, and then the next 2 best overall records will get in. Indy has already won the spring season, so they're in. So right now it's the Cosmos who have the top spot along with FC Edmonton. If the postseason were to begin today, it would be Indy 11, New York, Edmonton, and Rayo OKC going to the postseason. Now let's head to the Armada Boot Room, presented by MTech. All right, here in the Armada Boot Room, and Mauricio, one of the things we were really looking forward to was how Alex Anderson would be incorporated, and you've got some examples of what you saw out of his game on Saturday.
Right, he's a player that needs to be fed the ball a lot on top of the box special. So we're going to look at him. So right away, I'm just going to point out his positioning. He's always in between the opposition center back. He's occupying these 2 guys, so they have to make a decision on the play. And here's the ball that he wants. He wants that ball into feed from the center mids, so he can combine a little 1-2 with the attacking mids. He doesn't get that ball. The ball gets out wide, but look what he keeps doing. He's showing again. Junior Sandoval right there on him. He doesn't get the ball. He keeps showing for the ball. Junior takes a good decision down the line, but you have a center forward that wants the ball to feed. It's important that you feed him. So now next ball here, Maripu, good ball over the top to Plumhoff, and you can see, once again, we're just going to point him out. He's in right in between the 2 center backs, as he always does. Keeps those 2 guys occupied. And watch how smart he is. He shows one time, pulling off does a good job, and look at his pulling off. He pulls off once again on top of the box, doesn't get the ball. Got to find him feet. And we'll see on this last one here what he does inside the box. He's constantly moving. Good circulation from the Armada. Ball gets out wide. Matt Banner, a boom, and we stop. Just see exactly where he's at. He sees there's already a run to the near post. Good numbers there. So he pulls off. He keeps himself active, brings it down, And at this point, Cole, the game was 0-0. It's really one of his first positive touches in the game. Good opportunity to get him involved, but he's a player that needs to be fed the ball.
So you've liked what you've seen so far out of him. You think he can be a factor?
Absolutely. If you get him the ball early into the game, if midfielders develop that relationship and that trust, he could actually put a lot of people in, and he can score some goals himself.
All right, we'll be looking forward to that on Saturday against Fort Lauderdale. Thanks, Mauricio. More straight ahead. Andy Kidd joins Mauricio and I on the Analyst Roundtable. We'll talk about one of the most unbelievable own goals you will ever see. Stick around. More Armada Kickoff right after this. This week, the Armada Youth Camp's underway, the Elite Camp presented by Key Auto. And coming up next, it's the Youth Recreational Camp for kids age 6 to 15. You can sign up until tomorrow. The camp runs from August 1st through August the 4th. Go to armadafc.com for more information. All right, we welcome back in Andy Kidd and Mauricio Ruiz. Armada, Fort Lauderdale on Saturday. What do they need to do to come back with 3 points from the road?
I mean, I don't want to be redundant or basic here, but they need to score goals. You know, they need to attack the box. They need to continue to identify the relationships, especially with the new players. I think that's huge. I think that's what this week should be about, identifying how do you find Anderson, up there, because he's a player that wants the ball. Maripool looked extremely confident on the ball, so the ball needs to rotate through his feet a lot more. But I think he's got to get down there and score goals.
Yeah, start creating those relationships. Mauricio is right. Where those players are, know where each other are going to be. Right now, a lot of these players have only played together for a week or two, in game situations. So I think it's huge for them to start getting a consistent lineup because, you look through the season, there hasn't been a consistent 11, even a consistent 8, really, throughout the season. So I think it's important to start creating those relationships, those bonds where they can play off of each other and create chances.
Is this a watershed game for Tony Meola and for the club?
It's definitely a game that will get things back on track. If you can come back with 3 points, first road victory, there's just so many positives that can come from that because everybody's kind of, I'm sure, hunkered down a little bit right now, a little down, and you come back with 3 points, it could really get things, back going in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good perspective to have, but, I think if I take the devil's advocate here, I think Andy did, had a good answer to it, but I think it's a determining factor, if not for Meola, not for the club, but for some players. I think everyone is on a string right now.
Everybody's on trial, basically.
Everyone's on trial, including the overall organization as far as, okay, what's the direction that we're going to go forward with?
All right, let's make it a little lighter here. Take a look at this. This was about as bad an own goal as you're going to find in the Minnesota United friendly against Bournemouth. Watch Sammy Unjuk here. One of the best goalkeepers in the NASL, and that is awful.
That feeling right there, throwing that ball out, has got to be tough.
This is just unbelievable.
He's biting the ball now.
And in front of his home crowd?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yikes. How bad is that?
That's probably about as bad as you've seen. I mean, you've seen sometimes, kind of what happened to Sean Lewis last time. The goalkeeper punted the ball all the way over, and the ball kind of goes into your net. But to throw the ball back into your own net, I don't think I've ever seen that before.
He needs to get some kind of patent or copyright on that because it's going to be on every blooper video for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
So if you can get some royalties from that, at least there'll be a positive.
Okay, so now I will give to Minnesota United and Sammy Unjuk, hats off to you. They had some fun with it afterwards. This was the follow-up video to Sammy Unjuk's amazing own goal.
We can move the football, we can make them chase, and then it's easy. The mark of success is your ability as an individual to deal with adversity. Every situation's different, every game's different, every moment's different. Let's keep it simple. Make it simple. Look even simpler because you bring your quality to the fore and take care of business. Okay. Enjoy yourself. Come on, boys. Go, boys. Come on.
Blame it on the jelly.
That's great. That's great.
I mean, you have to do something, right? I mean, you have to embrace it. Everybody saw it. You're playing Bournemouth, right? One of the.
And it's a friendly.
It's a friendly. Yeah. Well, even if it wasn't though, but you're playing a team that's going to put a lot of eyes on it because it's a friendly against a Premier League team. Hats off to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mauricio, Ruiz, Andy Kidd, thanks so much. Coming up, a look ahead to Saturday's pivotal match as the Armada heads south to face the Strikers. Stick around. More Armada Kickoff is straight ahead.
Saturday will mark the second time the Armada have traveled to Fort Lauderdale. On April 23rd, Jacksonville nearly came away with their first road win. Matt Boehner scored early, but Maicon Santos stole a point back for the Strikers with a second-half goal. Last time out, Fort Lauderdale dropped a 3-1 decision in Minnesota, but they were the last NASL team remaining in the U.S. Open Cup, advancing to the quarterfinals before falling to the Chicago Fire. Saturday will be the final home match for the Strikers at Lockhart Stadium.
All right, here is the next home match. They'll take on the Carolina Railhawks. The Armada welcome in Matt Fondy and company. It is nonprofit night presented by Key Auto Company. 7 o'clock kickoff. We'll have coverage here on CW17 beginning at 6:30. And tickets are available by calling 844-2-ARMADA or by going online to armadafc.com. Remember, you can get the very latest on the Armada on armadafc.com anytime and on radio. Remember to join us for the Armada Coaches Show featuring Tony Meola, Mondays at 6 on Sports Radio 930. And Wednesdays at 6, it's the Armada Soccer Show. Our coverage of the Armada and Fort Lauderdale Strikers begins at 6:30 Saturday, kickoff at 7. We'll leave you now with a look at the Armada facing off against the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office team with a little help from the Jacksonville Fire and Rescue team as well. Friendly scrimmage this week. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time here on Armada Kickoff.
Armada Kickoff is brought to you by Dream Finders Homes, the mark of a quality home.